All right, I'm going to actually split this between revenue KPIs and expense KPIs. So the top two expense KPIs that practices need to pay attention to and that set well-managed practices apart. Let's talk about inventory, drugs and medical supplies, laboratory expenses, etc. So in a very well-managed practice, the variable costs, which includes your inventory, that number should be anywhere between 23 and 25%. And I have some clients that have even gotten that down to 22%. So that's definitely a KPI that you want to pay attention to. It's not unusual in a companion animal practice that those numbers can be as high as 28, 29, 30%. So there's a whole lot of money tied up in inventory just sitting there on the shelf. So that's definitely a KPI you want to pay attention to. The second expense KPI that you definitely want to pay attention to is your staff cost. Staff cost is going to range anywhere between 22 and 25%. And again, if you can keep that down to the lower end, not by firing people, but by getting more productive with the people that you have. And the more contributions, the more skilled your staff members are, and the more contributions they make to the practice, the more productive everybody will get. And that helps bring those staff costs down as a percentage of revenue. So that leads us to the revenue KPIs. So I think that the top three revenue KPIs that I would pay attention to, well, obviously it all starts with revenue when you're looking at medical revenue, and I'm focusing here on medical services and medical products. You definitely want to pay attention to that number. And our target is somewhere between $580,000 and $600,000 of medical revenue per full-time equivalent doctor. Medical revenue, of course, is driven by lots of different things, and I would say on the fee side of your practice, the biggest things to pay attention to would be your average doctor transaction and the makeup of your revenue, what we call your service product mix. On the activity side of the practice, the thing you want to pay attention to, of course, is your client and your patient numbers. And how many active clients and patients do you have? How many new clients and patients coming in? And something we're starting to monitor now is not only active, but lapsing patients, meaning they're overdue for their visit, but there's still the opportunity to reactivate them. So we're really starting to pay attention to that. So those would be just some of the important revenue KPIs to pay attention to. And so many times you can actually solve an expense issue by tackling the revenue side of your practice. So take those KPIs and work to improve your practice by identifying where your opportunities are.